Hi, my name's Emma and I run The Dating Mermaid. You can find more of my stuff, such as my blogs and products, at my website, which is www.thedatingmermaid.com. Now in this video, I wanted to have a little chat about the 4 techniques that you can use to help you to recover from a breakup. Now before I move into the 4 techniques, I just wanted to let you know about a concept that is best to adopt so that you can fully embrace and benefit from these 4 techniques. For you to feel better than you do today, you'll need to learn to think differently and do things differently. Because if you carry on thinking in exactly the same way as you do today and you continue to do things that you've done up until this point, you will feel exactly the same way and get exactly the same results. So change is really important for you to move on. Now, let's move on to the 4 techniques. So first of all, you've got your imagination. You can use your imagination to your benefit. What often happens is when people are experiencing a breakup or trying to recover from a breakup, they often have negative images in their heads. They imagine a bleak future. They imagine themselves being single forever. They imagine their exes having a whale of a time with someone else. Now, all of these images can be really painful and they contribute to the breakup pain. Now, you can use your imagination to your advantage, is that you can stop imagining negative pictures and you can start imagining positive pictures. So you might want to imagine yourself over and over again having a positive future, either single when you're really enjoying your life, or alternatively being in a relationship with somebody who's even better than your ex. So this is technique number 1, using your imagination. Technique number 2, self-talk. Now this is really important. So self-talk, obviously as the name suggests, is when you state or you make statements to yourself. It's when you kind of talk to yourself. Now everybody has a negative inner critic within their heads. And this is basically where people produce negative statements about themselves kind of repeatedly. It can really damage self-esteem. Especially after a breakup, people's self-talk, negative self-talk literally goes wild. So it's a good idea if you avoid saying negative things to yourself, such as I'm not good enough or I won't find somebody else, because it simply isn't true. And then move on to saying positive statements about yourself, such as I will get over this and one day I will be with somebody better. It's a good idea at this point for you to pay attention to what types of things that you say to yourself, because many people are completely unaware of what they say from day to day. So you might want to get a journal at this point and just write out all the statements you can remember saying to yourself to see whether they tend to be positive or they tend to be negative. Let's look at technique number 3. Questions. The questions you ask yourself also influence your happiness levels. They tend to be a form of self-talk, but obviously they're questions rather than statements. Now, your mind is structured so that it will look for answers to any questions that you ask it. So it's really important that you pay attention to the questions that you're asking. Now, after a breakup, many people ask themselves negative questions. The key one is, what's wrong with me? Or another one is, why did my ex leave me? Why does my ex not want me? Either way, your mind is going to find negative answers to these negative questions, and those answers are going to upset you. So a good idea when you're using this technique is to stop asking yourself negative questions. Just say to yourself, I'm not going to be asking negative questions anymore. And if you do, just say stop when you're doing it. And then start asking yourself positive questions instead. You might want to write them down beforehand because people are generally not that used to ask themselves positive questions. So a couple of positive questions you could start asking yourself on a regular basis is, what's right with me? Why am I a good partner? What makes me attractive? What are my qualities? So questions like that will encourage your mind to find positive answers so that you can feel better after this breakup. Right, technique number 4. Actions. It's really important that you do things differently after a breakup. Your life is not going to change unless you take action. So here are a few things that you can change. You can have conversations with people, different people or the same people to kind of resolve things. You can arrange to do things, you can book things, you can meet people, you can join groups. There are so many actions that you can take to move you from where you are today to where you want to go. And each of them will help you to rebuild your life after this breakup. So I just wanted to summarise at the end here that There are 5 techniques in actual fact, even though I've told you 4, only because I want to leave the last one out. I'm not really going to talk about that in depth, but I just wanted you to know about it. So the 4 main ones that I've spoken about today are imagination, self-talk, questions and actions, and a final one that you might want to investigate because many people find it useful for resolving anxiety, stress, depression, etc., is EFT. And this stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's also known as tapping, where people will tap different parts of their faces and their bodies to clear some energy and to help them to feel better. So I'm not going to go into EFT in this video. I just thought I'd let you know about it so you can investigate it if you wanted to. So there are 2 actions that you can take as a result of this presentation. Here are your actions to help you feel better after a breakup. So number 1, pay attention to what you say, ask, imagine and do for a whole week. You may want to write it all down in a diary or a journal just to see what you've been doing up until this point and also what you're going to be doing for the next week or so. Because if you are unaware of what you're doing or asking or saying or imagining, you can't actually change any of it. After you've identified all of that, then take the time to change each of them positively. And again, that might involve you writing in a journal, write out some positive questions, write out positive statements, describe some positive pictures that you can imagine, and write a list of all these positive actions that you can take to move on from this breakup. Anyway, I really hope this has helped. Let me know what you think of it in the comments box below. Thanks for listening. See ya.